Hello, folks. I'm in the Vercors. So a few minutes ago, I was up there. That is the memorial to the resistance here in Vercors, but there is no signal up there. So hence why I couldn't do any broadcasting from up there. But up from there, there's a fantastic museum stroke visitor centre where you go inside it and it takes you through the dark years of France being invaded in 1940, the occupation, collaboration, deportations, the formation of the resistance, talks about what's happening across France, across the world. Then it talks about D-Day. And then after D-Day, it talks about the here on the Vercors Plateau. And the Vercors Plateau, I'll just cross the road and show you some stuff. And apologies if it's a very windy here, because I can't use a wind muff if I'm using my stabilizer. So it's either stable images or good sound. So I've gone for stable images. Well, this is the Vercors Plateau. So the other side of those mountains, the other side of those mountains are more mountains, but up here in the middle of the Vercors Plateau is this fertile area I talked about. If you happen to watch yesterday's little show, or no, the day before's little show, this is the Vercors Plateau. And by the June of 1944, about 4,000, maybe as many as 5,000 resistance or maquisards were holding these hills around the Vercors Plateau. And they were carrying out what had been conceived as the mountain plan. Now, the mountain plan was for these 4,000 to 5,000 resistance to come out off the Vercors Plateau over the mountains down to the valley of the Rhone and inhibit, well, initially when the plan was conceived, it was to inhibit Germans kind of moving about France. It evolved into the try and stop the Germans retreating back from other parts of France where they're fighting. And the Germans were predictably worried about this unit of 4,000 to 5,000 resistance who could kind of drop in on their roads, on their communications. And so in July 21st, they conceived a plan to eradicate the plateau of resistance. In a minute, I'm going to take him to the cemetery, but once I'm in the cemetery, I'm not going to do much talking because it's a cemetery. But for those who want to know where we are, I got someone saying, why didn't I put a map up? Well, I'm out on my mobile phone in my shorts and my t-shirt. I haven't got maps and things with me, but if you look up on the map where we are, I'm going to go to La Chapelle-en-Vercors later. I might do a live stream from there as well, we shall see. And then the village of Vassieux-en-Vercors is down, actually a little bit further down this road here. But this is this plateau we're talking about. And I'm not going to go into massive details of the battle. There's the Paddy Ashdown book, there's other books on this. What I'm going to tell you is the Germans carried out one of the largest anti-partisan operations of World War II in Europe. Only kind of in Yugoslavia was anything bigger than this. And coming over, well, essentially here, I'll backpedal a bit. The resistance here thought that they were pretty safe up on the plateau because the only way in are via these narrow kind of winding alpine roads coming in from the north, particularly, which is the way I came in this morning with my family, and then from the south. And from early June, after declaring this republic, and I should say this is a pretty official republic. They have a postal system, they fly the French flag, they've set up a provisional government, they're going to have communications, etc., etc., etc. And they're waiting for the liberation, the Allied forces to catch up with them. But they had the roads from the north and the roads from the south kind of defended. But the Germans, in a rather sneaky and unfortunately very successful attempt, what they did is they dropped gliders right in the middle of the plateau. So we're going to go down to the village itself, but in front of us over there is where in July, I think it was between 12 and 16 German gliders landed. About 200 German troops landed by glider. And it's a combined operation of German mountain troops. There were Ost Battalion here. No one quite knows which country the Ost Battalion are from. There was some Lys, so that's the French who are serving with the Germans. There's some collaborators, and they land gliders in the plateau here. The other thing the Germans did is a reserve division of Gerbersjäger, apologies on my pronunciation, so mountain troops. Instead of using the north and south and coming on the roads but defend, although they did attack them in a kind of a diversionary way, they came over the mountains. There were 4 passes over there. I don't know exactly which ones were which, but 4 passes over there were over the next few days. The Germans kind of came in, and despite the fact this was a reserve mountain unit, there were lots of experienced mountain climbers. They had mules to carry provisions, and with gliders landing in the middle, German mountain troops coming over the mountains. Unfortunately, the resistance were outgunned, outmaneuvered, outwitted, I have to say, really. Over the next couple of days, there's fighting everywhere. What happens is eventually there's an order to kind of just get out of town happens, and the resistance try and hide and flee into the hills to hopefully some of them fight another day. What happens over the next few days, in fact, is the Germans don't give up their attempt to find these Germans, the resistance, and over the next few days, numerous groups of resistance were captured by the Germans. What happened to them, unfortunately, if you are a World War II TV fan, you'll know that unfortunately the Germans can be very, very guilty of some very, very nasty, atrocious acts of reprisal. And up on the plateau here were some numerous acts of horrible reprisal. About 200 French civilians were killed, about 600, I think 639 Maquisards resistance were killed, some in combat, but a far greater number were killed actually in reprisal afterwards. 500 homes or something on this plateau were razed to the ground. There's entire farmsteads that are just ruins around here. There's memorials all over the place. And this battle, you know, I say it's a battle now. Now it's a roundup. The Germans are rounding up these last few resistance. Carries on till mid-August. There's no actual final date of it because it kind of winds down. Eventually, with the landings, Operation Dragoon in the south of France, by the end of August, towns like Grenoble are liberated. Lyon was liberated in September the 2nd or 3rd, if memory serves. So after a few weeks of this fighting, you know, the freedom has come back, but it's come back at a real price. So what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to be much quieter, of course, because I'm going to a cemetery, is take you into the cemetery. So hopefully the visuals will be able to give you an idea of what we're looking at. And I will do a recap in a minute. And apologies I can't answer your questions when we're doing a film like this. Hope the sound isn't too bad. I'll just have a look at your comments while you're talking. I'm streaming it at 720 DPI rather than 1080. Hopefully that will help with any lag problems. And I've been reading about this battle, thinking about this battle for about 30 years. I did a bit of filming without live streaming earlier up at the memorial. And Wish Me Luck was the 80s TV series about the SOE. And the 3rd season was set here. And there wasn't much location footage, but there was a bit. And it gave me an idea of this battle. And now I'm here, and you can completely understand, now I'm in the plateau, why the resistance thought they were fairly safe of attack, except the fact that Germans came over the mountains. But I'm going to shut up now and take you on a tour. So talk amongst yourselves. I'm going up here, so this is one of Woody's World War II TV Walkabouts. If you haven't seen our other content, we normally do longer shows as historians. But I'm going to shut up now because we're going to look at and pay our respects to the dead here. So here we go. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Troy, Brian. Yes, there's an awful lot of names here. I'm from Normandy, where towns have maybe half a dozen resistance. There are some larger memorials in Normandy, but resistance is on a smaller scale. It's about intelligence gathering. You can see by the number of names here. This is big. wind isn't too bad. So this type of cemetery, it's called a necropole. So perhaps fittingly, the first graves I'm looking at, unknown. The big monument I just filmed, it just said 750 names. That would be over the course of the whole war, because there were still some reprisals before this battle here, because you're not far from Lyon. If you know anything about Lyon, that's where a particular fuckwit called Klaus Barbie was, who was one of the very worst SS, Gestapo, whatever the fuck he was. Nasty piece of work Klaus Barbie was. You'll look up the story on Wikipedia. I don't want to speak his name really while I'm in a place like this, but I'll take you past some of the graves. It's really gratifying that in a place that is really beautiful, and there's kayaking and hiking and waterfalls, and we went on a cave tour this morning, ostensibly because there was a resistance story there, but I couldn't film actually at the cave. I've done some footage, I'll do something with it later on. So people are coming here for touristic reasons, and yet even on a hot day there's a dozen or so people here walking around this cemetery paying their respects, which is nice to see. Can you imagine, just show you what the view was like from up there where I was earlier? You wait till you see my footage from up there. Maybe I better broadcast from Grenoble when I'm there at the weekend. We'll see. Might better upload the video or something. We'll see. And if you remember my introduction video, I talked about the fact these people, some of them were from the Vercors, but a lot were from other parts of France who were hiding from the obligatory service the Germans compelled young men to do. So even some Senegalese troops took part in the combat here. There were Poles here as well. Forgive me for forgetting the exact reason why the Poles were here. Jenny Grant will probably know. Poles were everywhere in World War II, as we know. So I went to the big place in Paris last year or year before with Mag, where there's a big memorial to where the various French resistance were shot, fusillés. But there are no individual graves here, and although you kind of read numbers, we all know there's something about actually seeing individual graves that makes it real and makes it understandable with the actual names. So this is all about 21st of July is the big day when the gliders land. It all kicks off, and I'm not going to get into here in a cemetery, but the mountain plan that these French resistance devised was dependent on being supported by the Allies, ostensibly from England. And there had been lots of drops of canisters, and a lot of the Mackeys up here were armed with Sten guns, Bren guns. I saw a bit of footage. Even one had a Johnson M1941. Johnson submachine had one bazooka, and there was no SS team or Jedburgh team. I forget the code name of it. Jupiter, something like that. Something with J. Juniper, Jupiter. And actually, some of these Jedburgh teams, I think 5 of them or 7 of them, were US Marines, part of the Jedburghs. So when we say no US Marines fought in France, generally true. There were a few Marines advising and involved in kind of on ships and things on Neptune. There were these few US Marine Corps guys here. I don't think any of them fell in the battle. They were here to instruct in weapons and things like that. So I'm going to take you past some of the more modern monuments, because it's not just those who fell at the time. There's memorials to people who died of old age and years later who survived this, and also these are tribute plaques from various towns, associations, veterans associations, anciens parachutistes, first RCPs. That's a very famous French airborne unit. So they're honouring Brigade de Sapeurs-Pompiers de Paris. So Parisian firefighters have put a monument here. Henry Isaac Chiput, killed by the Germans. This is before the attack, so 16th of July, obviously styled David Jewish. Really glad I came here. I'm hoping those of you who are watching are getting something out of this. I certainly am walking it. Thank you. That's my family in the van over there. See the van? To be fair, they did the museum. My girls, stepdaughters, but there's only so much World War II stuff they can do. But they were very respectful in the museum. They appreciated the efforts to talk about modern resistance and things like that. But this is my bit now. And later on, we're going to do some more stuff and have a cold beer at some point. So I could film all these graves, but I think you've got the idea. What I want to do is take you to the map in a minute and try and test out my memory of what I remember about this battle, because I haven't got my book in my hand right now. I'm on holiday, right? For goodness sake, I'm on holiday. This is just a bonus bit of content for you because I'm out here. That's the idea with these Woodies walkabouts. So, the pioneers of the Vercors, 750 heroic combatants and martyrs from Vercors died for France. And I'll just take you to the map. There was someone there. Hopefully they've gone now. But just again, look at this amazing countryside around here. I'm from Essex. I don't see many mountains in Essex. Some of the roads driving them are a little bit hairy, but yeah, it's do one last shot around the cemetery. I'll try and get to the map and show you, give you a brief description by the map. So I'm not sure how many graves there are here. Let me do a kind of rough count for 8, 16, 20. I'm going to say about 100, something like that. Just waiting for the map to be free, and I'll film at the map. So thank you for, I think someone just dropped a donation in. Thank you very much. You can always do that with a super thanks. They're waving at me now. I think that's my call. Shall I take you to the map? Just waiting. Here we go. So people are asking, I hope the light isn't too bad. You can see me reflected there. So this is a map of the Vercors. Yeah, the light's not great. The sun's off. I'll try and get, is that any better? No, oh well. We'll have to just put up the fact there's a bit of light there. So this is the plateau in the middle here. I can't see exactly where we are on this because I haven't got my glasses on. So Grenoble is at the top there. And then they've got all the mountains around here and the plateaus in the middle. I think we might be around here somewhere. So earlier I was at the, I didn't film there because I couldn't, but I was at the Grotte de la Loire, which is down here. The Grotte de la Loire was a hospital, a cave hospital. I'll upload a film about that at some point. Ah, vous êtes ici, I'm here. Where the hell is that saying? I can't see where that is on the map. I can't see where the vous êtes ici is, where you are here. Anyway, somewhere there. This is actually not working out as well as I thought it was going to be because the light's not good. You can see me though, hello. I'm going to go and finish up now. So yeah, that was a little tour of the Vercors necropole and cemetery. I'm going to finish now, and thanks for your attention. Maybe there'll be another one this afternoon, maybe there won't, but thank you for watching. It's been interesting talking to you. I will see you another time. So, and by the way, Lucy did a great job, didn't she, yesterday on World War I TV? But anyway, this is Paul Woodadge for World War II TV on Woody's World War II TV Walkabout saying thank you very much and see you next time. Bye.